From the Toronto Star from the year 1986. Bowling Kingpin chose game over life of crime. A man who left a life of back alley crime to become the king of Ontario bowling alleys will be among those honored by the Ontario Five-Pin Bowlers Association this weekend. Scarborough's Bert Garside, generally credited with starting organized five-pin bowling in Ontario, will be inducted into the Association's Hall of Fame along with 11 others Saturday. Garside, 55, who recently announced plans to retire next year from his post as managing director of the Ontario Five-Pin Bowlers Association, was saved from a jail term by a game of bowling. I got myself in all kinds of trouble when I was a kid, he says. There was a group of us planning a robbery at the time my friend convinced me to go bowling instead. While I bowled, my friends were breaking into a place I was supposed to break into. They all got caught. His friend exacted an unusual form of payment for providing Garside's escape. At the time of the robbery, about 40 years ago, my friend had made me promise to do something for bowling. Years later, his friend died. When he died, his wife asked me what I had done, which was nothing. So that's when I decided to do something for the game, he says. Five-pin bowling was not organized at any level when Garside started working at it during the early 1950s. He has been involved in all aspects of the game during his more than 30 years in the sport, including 21 years with the Bowling Association. He and the other men and women will be honored during the revived awards dinner for the Ontario Five-Pin Bowlers Hall of Fame to be held Saturday at the Ramada Renaissance Hotel in Scarborough. When Garside started his campaign to organize five-pin bowling, his first task was to bring the top Toronto bowlers into one group. From there, he set up the Scarborough Bowling Association in 1962 and the Masters Bowling Association a few years later. He also became president of the Bowling Proprietors Association and helped form the Ontario Five-Pin Association, along with keeping his own bowling game in top form. It was during this time he won a trip out west to compete in the Canadian Championships, giving him the opportunity to help set up similar groups out west. He then traveled across Ontario, setting up local associations and getting most provincial bowlers organized to the point that there are now approximately 70,000 members in Ontario. It was a lot of work, but worth it, and there were a lot of obstacles in our way. We could have grown twice as fast, he says. One situation that hasn't changed much since he first started five-pin bowling is that the 10-pin game, despite fewer members, gets most of the attention and publicity. And that has Garside, along with most other five-pin bowlers, angry. It's always been that way. 10-pin gets all of the attention, but five-pin gets all the players. Five-pin is a great game and should get much more recognition. Garside, however, is thrilled to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Naturally, I'm honored beyond words. To be judged by your peers to be one of the best is a great honor.